when helping the children and women at Borderless, do you have to be aware of any cultural superstitions and be sensitive to how to approach certain things?
Of course, so at Borderless, we have people from Syria, Lebanon. Sometimes we had a beneficiary from Yemen, sometimes Palestine. So they all come with different backgrounds and different cultures and different beliefs. And we do work with everybody in a way that is not disrespectful towards their own culture, in a way that they can take in the information and understand it instead of enforcing it on them, because
Mhm.
sometimes there are limited beliefs, and that it's like when you're explaining something and they have their like example when it comes to women empowerment. Women have a lot of limited beliefs about themselves, and it's embedded in their culture. Women are not allowed to do so many things, and when we try to come and change that mindset, whether explaining it to youth, girls, or women about what women can do and what women can achieve, we try to, of course, take into consideration all their cultural norms, and where the conversation would turn in a way for them to be able to really understand what we're trying to say. And of course, it goes into phases, because if you just say it as it is, it would be shocking.
Mhm.
So we are very mindful when it comes to these things. Yeah.
Okay. Can we dig a little bit deeper into that? Like, let's say anyone listening to the show right now wants to come and volunteer and help. What are some things they should be aware of? Some cultural sensitivities that they should be aware of before coming?
Cultural sensitivity. So it really depends on the community. So when you go into a community, you need to respect the community rules. And if you want to make a change within that community, you need to start by conversations. And those conversations will be based on personal experience, because I think this is one of the most authentic way to start change, by sharing your own authentic stories and helping others to see the differences. So anyone who would like to come and volunteer with Borderless on ground just needs to be mindful that those people they're going to be working with are coming from really harsh environments most of the time. They have different beliefs. They have different values. They see the world, and their outlook on the world is completely different. And what we can do is basically come in, share our stories, show them the different side, show them some
Hmm.
pictures, show them some videos, make it fun and entertaining, um, and simply be with them without creating that distance, that not power distance, a distance where they should not realize that there's a difference. We're all people. So I think this is one of the most important thing to keep in mind, to be mindful that we're all people, no matter where we're from, no matter who we are, no matter what our background is. Just be with them, be one of them, basically.
Exactly. I think that's how our both the projects have similar goals, and that's also why I think we came up with the name Borderless, and in
Yeah.
my case, without borders, right? It's kind of breaking down these borders and showing how we are the same. But of course, before we understand how we are the same as humans, we do have to understand some of the cultural differences. Otherwise, sometimes the differences can get highlighted, and we can fall into problems, of course.
Correct.
This is just a little note I was just curious about because again, it ties into emotions. Um, I read that in certain Arab populations, it's dishonorable if a man does not respond to an insult with a great demonstration of anger. Is this
Hmm.
true, or does this depend from region to region?
I mean, that's a good question, and I think it's an eye-opening question. I cannot generalize and say like men is insulted if they do not respond with a lot of anger, right? Because that would
Yeah, of course, we can never
we
generalize with
cannot
these types of stats and this
yeah.
information, right?
and
But
and I think what we really do through psychosocial support session is actually teach them how to cope with this, teach them how to react, help them realize that there's different ways. But men in the Middle East are really different. There's a lot of people, like there's a lot of men in the Middle East who react in a different way, and I don't think that it would be fair to say if they don't respond in an anger way to an insult, then it's they're insulted. I wouldn't say that. Not all of them are like that. No.
of course not. But where do you think this fact comes, or not a fact, but where does this generalization come from? And is there some truth to it, depending on the regions? And does
I
it
think
cause
if
any problems maybe for women and children?
mm, um I don't know. I think it really depends what we're talking about here. So if you wanna let's take not Arab men in general. Let's take the beneficiaries that we work with at Borderless, and
Okay.
they do show sign of anger, of course, frustration, and that comes because of the lack of financial stability. They can barely feed their children, and I'm not
Mm,
defending them, but I'm just trying to explain where this frustration comes from. And of course, when they're insulted, they feel vulnerable. And when they feel vulnerable, they're going to react. And it takes a lot away from their manhood that they cannot
mhm,
provide for their families. And our part is really, we come in and try to make them see that there are different ways of responding to these things. There are different ways that they can go out and generate income. For example, we teach them a vocational workshop and they start building that confidence back for them to be able to really cope with their environment.